Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Guys, we may have seen the last of Manny Pacquiao. Firstly, I want to congratulate Yordenis Ugas. What a performance that was by Yordenis Ugas. I was wrong. I didn't think that Yordenis Ugas I didn't think he had the kind of defensive ability which he showed in there tonight. He was so smart. He got out of range. He hit Manny Pacquiao. He made Manny Pacquiao miss a lot. He just showed defensively he was so sound. Pacquiao wasn't what he was. However, Yordenis Ugas was brilliant. I think stylistically, Yordenis Ugas fought a very smart fight. He fought a bit like Mayweather, not as defensively as Mayweather. I think he was more aggressive. He was landing a lot more punches. That was a great performance by Yordenis Ugas. And he did win the fight. I'm going to be honest with you. I know some of you are probably, some Manny Pacquiao fans may disagree, but I thought he won the fight. I thought it was quite clear as well. It was a brilliant performance by Ugas. I was so impressed. And a star is born, because let me tell you something about Yordenis Ugas. I thought he beat Sean Porter, and now he's just beaten Manny Pacquiao. Put some respect on his name. You know, and I don't necessarily think Manny Pacquiao's finished. I just think Yordenis Ugas was brilliant. I don't necessarily think Manny Pacquiao's past it or finished, or no. I actually think that it was just Ugas was really good. Ugas was just, he was very good. And I think stylistically, at this stage, Ugas just fought a too clever fight. And I think with all the physical advantages he had in terms of height, reach and all of that, I just think it was too much for Manny Pacquiao at this stage. See, styles make fights, and especially where Pacquiao in his prime would have beaten Ugas comfortably. But at this point, Pacquiao doesn't have the same speed. He doesn't have the same legs that he used to have. The angles weren't there. We knew that this day was coming. You know, it was going to eventually happen. You know, he was going to lose. And unfortunately, tonight against Ugas. Ugas is a top guy. He's a top guy. He's a top 5 easy welterweight, and he's a great fighter. And he just fought a very smart fight. I think he fought a fight which was too difficult for Pacquiao. And who knows, maybe even 4 or 5 years ago, it may have been difficult for Pacquiao, because Ugas was fighting very, very intelligently. He showed very good boxing IQ in there, and he landed some huge shots. And Pacquiao's chin is unbelievable. Like, Ugas landed some huge shots in there, and Pacquiao just took him easy. But I do think he was just a little bit too smart for Pacquiao. I think the speed and the legs weren't quite what they were. And I think Ugas took advantage of that, because Ugas had huge physical advantages over Manny. And he took advantage of those advantages he had. Man, I'm sad in a way, because we were supposed to see Errol Spence v Manny tonight. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Errol would have done this, that. I actually think stylistically, Ugas was very, very, very tricky fight. Very, very tricky fight, because I think Ugas fought a very smart fight. Now, Errol probably could have done that as well. But Ugas, for me, was just brilliant. The way he was getting out of range, making Manny Pacquiao miss, and then landing shots with looping right hands. He was brilliant. The way he was judging distance. You know, obviously he was able to do all of these things because Pacquiao wasn't as fast as he was. But nevertheless, Pacquiao was still good. He was still good. It's just that Ugas was he was just really good. Like I said, I was so impressed with Yordenis Ugas. And I had seen some of Yordenis Ugas fights, and he was a bit wild, and he was a bit wild in there at times, but he was calculated. In the Porter fight, you know, I thought defensively he looked so weak. You know, he looked so poor defensively. Porter's landing so many shots. And I was like, what's Manny Pacquiao going to do to him? But he just controlled that fight. He was brilliant. Ugas was brilliant. What a fighter. What a fighter. And let's not, like I said, this guy beat Porter in my opinion. Now he's beaten Manny Pacquiao. Yordenis Ugas could beat Errol Spence. There's no doubt in my mind. You don't write Yordenis Ugas off. Yordenis Ugas could beat Errol Spence. 100% could beat Errol Spence. Ugas is a really good fighter. On that performance, that was a really good performance. I don't even know if Errol Spence would have been able to put in a performance like that. I know people say, oh, well, Errol Spence would have knocked Manny Pacquiao out. No. I don't think he would have knocked Manny Pacquiao out. I think Ugas can beat... Let's not forget, Errol Spence won a split decision over Sean Porter. Yordenis Ugas lost a split decision over Sean Porter. But let's be real, Yordenis Ugas beat Sean Porter. Yordenis Ugas could beat Errol Spence. Maybe I'll do a separate video about that. That's not an easy fight by any stretch. By any stretch, that's not an easy fight for Errol Spence. You know, and who knows, stylistically, maybe Manny might have done better against Errol Spence. You see, certain fighters don't have the name, like Yordenis Ugas. He doesn't have the name, he doesn't have the profile, he doesn't have all of that. But that doesn't mean he's not a very good fighter. That doesn't mean Yordenis Ugas couldn't beat Errol Spence. He possibly can. And what Yordenis Ugas showed tonight, he was, for me, unjustly given that WBA super belt. But today, he won that. That was an impressive performance by Ugas. He's a very, very good fighter. And I think a lot of you would agree with me. He's a very, very good fighter. Yordenis Ugas can really fight. Honestly, I don't really say that about a lot of guys. I was really impressed. Really, really impressed. This guy's a problem. Yordenis Ugas could beat any welterweight. He's one of the best welterweights. He could beat any of them. I actually think him against Virgil Ortiz, for example, Ugas could outbox Ortiz. Ugas has got a great... The other thing is, Ugas has got a great chin. He's got a great chin. He's intelligent. He's smart. Got a great boxing IQ. I think Ugas is a problem for any welterweight. In terms of Manny Pacquiao, I don't know what he's going to do. People are going to say, should he retire? Should he do this? Should he do that? I don't know what next for Manny Pacquiao. I think it's going to be... I think that might be it, actually. I think that might be it. What has he got to prove, man? He's proved everything. Pacquiao's done everything in the sport of boxing. What is there more for him to prove? He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's an 8 division world champion. There's nothing for Manny to prove, for me. There's nothing for him to prove. He's not the fighter he was. Let's be real. Let's be honest about it. He's not what he quite was. He is. We have to be honest. He is past his best. He's definitely not the fighter, he once was. And I'm looking at Manny. Manny always used to say that, you know what? If I'm not fighting the best, there's no point of me. Fighting anymore, because it's about legacy for me. Unfortunately, on that performance, and I'm the biggest Manny Pacquiao fan, I can't see him beating Terence Crawford. I don't think he would beat Errol Spence. I'm not even sure if he beats Sean Porter, to be honest. We saw Manny. We saw Manny against Keith Thurman fading, but it was still a great performance against Keith Thurman. He was definitely fading towards the back end of that fight. But in this fight, I just think Ugas fought a very intelligent fight. And again, I'll say it again, I don't think Manny's like shot or anything. I don't think Manny's like way past his best. He is past his best, but I don't think he's completely shot where he can't fight these guys. He can fight and compete with all of those guys. I just don't think the way Ugas fought that fight, if somebody fights an intelligent fight, because let's not forget, these guys are bigger than him. So when somebody with Ugas's height is controlling distance and judging distance very well and getting out of the way and making it difficult, using his jab, which was brilliant all night long, and then looping up right hand, countering Manny, it's difficult at this age because Manny doesn't have the legs anymore. He doesn't have the same legs that he used to. He doesn't have the same hand speed. It's only you're going to diminish. I thought the reason why I thought Manny would knock Ugas out is because I thought Ugas was defensively very poor. He actually showed in this fight that he's actually very good defensively. Although he did get caught a few times, it's the fact the way he was judging distance, the way he was getting out of the way he was controlling the action. He was making Manny Pacquiao miss a lot. Which normally Manny Pacquiao, when he throws, he's very accurate. But Ugas was controlling the distance. He was making him miss. He was just very, very good. Ugas was brilliant, man. You gotta give him Ugas respect, man. You gotta give him massive respect. That was a great performance by Yordenis Ugas. Honestly, great performance. And like I said, I think he should definitely look to unify. I think he should look to unify. Yordenis Ugas, because on that performance, I'm being honest with you guys, and I'll make a separate video about it. I think Yordenis Ugas can beat anybody. I believe Yordenis Ugas can beat any welterweight. He's a top-notch fighter. And sometimes we as boxing fans sometimes need to do a lot more research about these guys, their amateur career, their amateur pedigree. Sometimes a lot of these guys, they may not have great records, and Ugas has got 4 losses on his record. But sometimes when you look deep, into his record, and you see that he's lost a lot of split decisions, a lot of fights that maybe should have gone in his favor, but he wasn't the politically connected fighter, so they didn't. But on tonight's performance, that was a great performance. I don't think you can say anything else. I think all you can say is Yordenis Ugas is a top fighter. And like I said, really, he's unlucky because he really should have win over Manny Pacquiao and a win over Sean Porter. You could arguably say he's got one of the best resumes if that decision that should have gone in his favor went in his favor, he should have wins over Manny Pacquiao and Porter. But they didn't go his way. So personally, I think Yordenis Ugas is a problem. I think Yordenis Ugas is a really, really good fighter. And I would personally, I'd say I would like to see how Crawford gets on with him. Because I think Ugas could beat any of those guys. I tell you. Because Ugas, he's got very good boxing IQ. He's long, he's tall, right? He's got power. And the other thing, he's got a granite chin. Pacquiao caught him with a lot of shots, and he had a granite chin. So he's not going anywhere. This guy is definitely a top. Well, I honestly think that Ugas against Crawford would be a tough fight for Crawford. That'd be a tough fight because I think Ugas is big. He's big, he's tall. That's a tough fight. Crawford will be a lot sharper with his legs than what Manny was. But I think Ugas' height, his strength, his power, his boxing IQ, that's a problem for Terence Crawford. And it's even a problem for Errol Spence. Because what I saw tonight, I saw a very intelligent fighter inside that ring. He outboxed Manny, and very difficult to outbox Manny Pacquiao. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult to outbox Manny, but Ugas managed to do that tonight. He outpointed Manny Pacquiao, and I don't think there's any complaints. I think everybody kind of sees it the same way. That was a brilliant performance by Yordenis Ugas. You have to give him massive props. You have to give Yordenis Ugas massive credit on that performance. That was a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance. Fair play to Yordenis Ugas. He isn't a favored. He isn't anyone favorite. But he's come out here now and he's pulled off a massive shock. Yordenis Ugas beats Manny Pacquiao. Guys, I will be doing a live stream today, later on in the evening UK time, and we'll definitely get your guys' reactions on it. But yeah, it's upsetting in a way, because we may, might be the end of an era. But what a great performance. I think the night belongs to Yordenis Ugas. What a fighter, great fighter. Respect to both Manny Pacquiao for putting, 42 years of age, putting in such a great performance himself. And then Ugas, wow, what a performance he put in. It was great. Respect to both guys. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.